everybody. We are back. Ravenflower and my special guest, Sir Noah Tipistari, and my BFF. And we have been trying to do this for a while.
Yeah.
We're just, life just keeps beating us down. So that's a thing. So welcome to Truth Talk. I know that I extended the invitation to you first. I think you were one of the very first people that I wanted to have come on, but you weren't ready at that time. So we have scheduled it now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
what's
I'm
going
happy
on?
to be here. Yeah. Well, yeah, so like when you first like told me about the series, I was like on board that moment, but I was like, save me for like, a little bit later because I'm so not ready right now. But yeah, so
No,
I
it's a
wanted
tasty
to
snack. No, it's a tasty snack for later.
Yeah. The thing you look forward to at the end, um but I'm happy to be part of season 2 though. Like that means that the show, like, it made it.
Made it. I know.
So I pretty much just want to give like a like update on myself. Instead of going from like back then to present, I'm going to start from present to back then. If you guys can tell that are watching, my setup is different because I moved, you guys. So like I moved back to California. It's something that I never thought I would have done, but I felt that I needed to. So there's a few different reasons. So the first one is my family. Like I miss them terribly. I had intentions of having my family in Texas with me, and life just happened, and things didn't take us on the path that we wanted to. It took us on the path that we're supposed to go down. So like I at a point I had like pretty much my whole family here. Like I had my sister, her kids, my mom. And then my sister was having another baby, and I was like, we don't have any more room in our apartment, and like there's not enough people to help, but there are back home. So she came back to California, and then my mom started getting sick, and that was like at the beginning of 2020. And she ended up coming back to California, and so I was there all alone because my best friend like moved to Washington, and COVID hit, so like we couldn't like go
Did
out
you hear
anywhere.
that shade? Did you hear that shade? Okay, continue.
No shade, no
Oh, yeah.
shade. I promise. Because I plan on moving there, and I want to go visit super soon. So
Okay.
yeah, so I'm back in California. I have an apartment already. I'm have my mom living with me again, and so me and my younger sister are like tag teaming, like taking care of her and stuff. She is better than she was in the beginning of 2020, but she's still pretty, pretty like bad. She's in the hospital right now. She's been in the hospital for like a month and a half because I've been here 2 months. So she's been in the hospital for like a month and a half. And she'll be getting out, I think this Sunday or like by Wednesday, the latest, she'll be getting out. So she's stable enough to come home and, like relax. And I'm really like happy. I'm really happy and like relieved that she's at that point where we're able to bring her home. Cause I felt like when I moved here and she went to the hospital, I felt like this is it. Like she was just waiting for me to get back here, and that was it, So, yeah, so that's those are the main reasons why I came back. But also like the weather started getting really bad in Texas. So when I moved there, Raven told me about the heat. I will never forget. She was like, "You're gonna go from air conditioned home to air conditioned car to air conditioned work to air conditioned car to air conditioned home." And I was like, "Okay, yeah," and it's a thing.
It's a thing. Yeah, I don't want to be outside in Texas.
It's a thing.
No,
It's a total thing.
you will fall.
Yeah. So that I could handle. Like because I was always inside anyway. I lived for the storms. I'm always posting, in my stories about the storms. But this winter storm that happened in like February scared the living crap out of me. Like I'm still traumatized. So if any of you watching the news, there was like a terrible winter storm, I think in like the beginning or middle of February. It hit San Antonio really hard. The power was out for like 2 weeks. The water was out for a week. I was not prepared in the slightest. Like I had, just what I had in food. Everything was closed down, so you couldn't like go get stuff to eat, or anything like that. So I was just like, trying to figure out like how I can ration out what I had. I had this bottle of water for like a few days, and I was like, but I drink like 5 of these a day. I had to like ration it out. Like it was really bad, and it was really scary. Like the whole city was like blacked out. There were no lights on at all, so it was pitch black, and like it was cold as hell. It was like 20 degrees in my apartment. It was like really bad.
It was
So
crazy. It was really crazy. Snow says it was Valentine. It started on Valentine's Day that you
yeah,
guys got that. It was
I don't
what's
see any
nuts is
comments.
that we didn't have as much snow as we would normally have
Mhm.
here, and it was warmer here. It was like, I don't know, 40 degrees here and like chill, and you guys were going through like hell. I'm like, what in the world? In
It
fact,
was
you
really
even took food to my kid.
Yeah, because I felt it. I was like, I want to help them, because I know that they need it just as much as I need it,
Yeah, I
So
couldn't get anything. I was helping Ridley with groceries at that
I
time,
was
and
like,
I couldn't get
I want to
anything
help.
to go through. It just sucked.
It was really bad, and I knew that I was traumatized when I moved here. I was living with my sister in her apartment. We live in the same complex. I was living with her in her apartment, and her air conditioner is kind of loud. So
Mhm.
whenever it would turn off, I like freak out and be like, "Oh my god, there's power off!" And then I'm like, "Okay, the light's still on." And yeah, it was bad. Like, and I told her about it, and she was like, "Oh my god, don't tell me that." Like it's
He's
just
got PTSD.
seriously like because that's how it was like that. Like, because I always have the heater on because it was really cold. So every time it would turn off, I would know that the power went out again.
Yeah.
And so it kept going on like here and there. It was like rolling blackouts and stuff. And so it like stood with me when I moved here. Every time hers would turn off because it would hit the temperature on the thermostat, it would turn off like it's supposed to. I would like have a little mini freak out. So it was bad. That was like,
Oh,
okay, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. So yeah, that was February, and then going backwards, in December, I met somebody who was homeless. He was a younger guy, and I don't know, like I just like something in me was just like, you got to help this guy, you got to help this guy, and so I that's something I would never have thought I would have ever done because I don't
mhm.
really, I don't really uh open up like right away anyway, and to like let a complete stranger in my car and then in my home, like it was just totally out of my character. But I felt like I needed to help him, and so I brought him to stay with me. And that night we were like talking for a few hours, and he was just telling me like where he's been and how he got in the situation and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
so I just told him like, well, I'll give you a chance, so like you sleep here overnight, whatever. He looked like super exhausted. I was like, I can only imagine, how it is being homeless. He was like sleeping under a freeway,
Yeah.
and I can only imagine like you have to be alert at all times. Somebody's gonna steal your stuff or do something to you, or worse, So the next day I had to go to work, and I seen him like laying down, and I was like, you know what, like against my judgment, I'm going to let you stay here while I'm at work. Just because I know that you're exhausted. I know that you're
Yeah.
exhausted. Just sleep. If you have errands to run, just stay here. Please don't leave. Like, don't leave because I don't have an extra key for you. Whatever. So I was like, just stay here, sleep. You're here with the dog alone. Nobody's gonna come in or out. It's just you. Let your hair down, let your guard down. It's just you. Take a shower, eat something, whatever. When I get home, then I'll take you to where you need to go. And so all day when I was at work, I was in the back of my head, I'm like, oh my god, dude, like what did I do? I was like so worried. But then I was just like, you know what, like it is what it is. You already made your decision, you followed your heart, and it was what it was. So I
I
came
remember getting
home.
a text message. I remember getting a text message, and I think it was like, "Girl, I just did something. Don't judge me."
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so I came home, and like everything was still in place, and he was still there. And so I ran his errands with him. And so he had asked me, he's like, do you think I could stay another night? And I was like, you know what, I said, I was thinking, when I was younger, I was living like house to house, And there were a few times where I felt like really like insecure and unstable because I didn't know if I was gonna be able to stay there another night. And it was like that every single night, like, oh my God, can
Yeah.
I stay here tomorrow? You know?
Yeah.
And so I told him, I was like, rather than put you through that, I'm going to give you a chance and just let you stay here as long as I'm here. Know that I'm leaving in February. So this was December. I'm leaving in February, or I'm leaving in January. That was the time I was leaving in January. So that's your deadline, like to get what you need to do to get on your feet. You know, I'm out of here. You know, so if if I wasn't coming back to California, I don't think I would have done it. Because I wouldn't have had the heart to like tell him to leave or anything like that. So yeah, so I was just like, you know, I'm leaving, and truthfully, like I am leaving, you know. And so he went out like right away, and like he got a job. He like had different interviews like within the same week, and I was like really proud of him. He did a lot in a little bit of time, and just like you know, showing his appreciation for ways like, you know, cooking and cleaning and stuff like that, and picking up after himself and asking what he can help with and stuff like that. So I was grateful, and I felt like, you know, he needed me, but I also needed him. You know, I needed somebody there while I was there, you know, just to talk to, because I took COVID seriously. Like there was a lot of Texans that didn't. I took COVID very seriously. Like I had everything delivered to the house. I didn't go out if I didn't have to. And I would still go to places and people wouldn't be wearing masks or they wouldn't be social distancing. So I was just like, you know what, screw it. I'm staying home. I'm not going anywhere. So it was nice to have somebody there to talk to and just, you know, express different things, like whatever's on my mind, and like get feedback, you know. Of course I had you guys, like, I would talk to you, text you, Snow, Aiden, Rebecca, all our friends in the group chats, you know, and Tequila and stuff. But like to have a physical person there was, you know, it's different. And to get to know a person, you know, like to see what his likes and dislikes are was really nice, you know. And so he ended up being like a really good guy. You know, then as it got closer to me moving, I decided to leave in I decided to leave in February. So I had given my notice to leave at the end of January, and then I needed more time, so I put it to February, because I realized like I had to pack all my stuff up by myself and like move everything by myself. Like I didn't have anybody, you know. So I gave myself more time, and I was packing through the days. So I told him that. I told him, I was like, all right, now you have till the end of February. And I was like, if you want to go, you can come. I can't take you with me, like where I'm going, but like if you want to go to California, you can. And he was just like, I can be homeless anywhere. You know, here or there. He goes, I want to get the hell out of here. Like I feel like I'm gonna get stuck here if I don't go. I never wanted to be here anyway, you know, so I'm going to go with you. So that was our plan. He was going to come with me, which worked for me because I didn't have to drive alone.
Right.
So I started getting pretty bad. Like he started going back into his old habits, you know, with, you know, substance abuse and stuff like that. And I wasn't having it. I wasn't having it. And it was at a point where I was just like, okay, you know, you got to go. It broke my heart to like have to say that, because I never thought I would have been able to. But I was like, all right, you got to go. You know, it didn't work out. And then a few days before the winter storm hit, like I told him, I was like, you know what, just come back. So he came back, and then the storm hit, and I was like, oh my God, if I wouldn't have let him back in or reached out, like he could have been
what would have happened? Yeah, what would have happened
out there, and I would have never forgiven myself. So I'm glad that I did it, you know. He didn't end up coming with me though. So like up until the day that I moved, he was like, yeah, I'm going to go. So like I was packing everything, I was organizing everything, getting rid of stuff that I wasn't going to take. And I rented the U-Haul, rented the tow hitch for my car. And like the day before I was driving out here, he was like, I'm not going. And I was like, what? Yeah. I'm like, why? And he's like, he goes, I'm not ready to, you know, I can't go. And I'm just like, you said you could be homeless anywhere. Like, you know, you should just come. And I even offered, I was like, just come on the drive with me there, and then I'll fly you back. Cause I really didn't want to drive alone. I was driving a 15-foot U-Haul truck. And then I had my, my mini SUV towed on the back of that. And when you're driving a moving van, you can't see behind you, and there's no rearview mirror. You can only see on the sides and then your blind spots, and that's it. And so like, it was, to me, it was like terrifying. I was like, I didn't want to do this by myself. I was also fearful, like every time I stopped for gas, like how the hell am I going to get back out? I can't see behind when I reverse, like just things like that were like, you know, my anxiety was like up here.
I know. This is my concern. I was like, you're doing what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, oh no. I said, I need to go to the altar for Noah now.
Yeah,
I don't know what's happening over there.
yeah, it was,
I was going to try to figure a way to like fly there and just like drive with you for moral support. But it's like, have no business. I know that I should not be driving a movie van with a tow hitch. Like, there's no way. I could
yeah,
probably drive the moving van, but the
mhm,
tow hitch is like a whole nother
yeah,
level of no. So
oh
I'm like so proud of you that
yeah.
you did this. I'm so like really proud of you. You
Aw.
kicked ass. You really did.
So like I had family, like I could have flew my sister out and I was going to, but he told me he was gonna go. So I was like, okay, it's gonna save me
Yeah.
money not to have to fly her out. And so yeah, so like I ended up driving alone. It was like super scary in the beginning, but I was like, you know what, I gotta get it done. Like I gotta stop worrying about it. I gotta get it done.
Yeah.
So I took it very slow. I didn't do it like I drove here when I left California. I just came all the way straight through. I didn't stop at all. I took
Mhm.
my time, to get gas, get food. I had my mom's dog with me in the car too. That was another thing. I had to make sure like she was able to use the bathroom every stop. So I took my time. I stopped when I needed to stop and I slept when I needed to sleep. I took my time. So I got here all in one piece. All my stuff in the moving van was cool. My car was good. I hitched it by myself. Like, I did everything like I needed to, and then I got here, and now I don't even remember the drive. Like the way that I like to explain it is like like when you're a baby and like they pierce your ears, you have the pain when you're a baby, but when you get older, you don't really remember it. I feel like that's gone. Like I don't even remember the drive. I just know that I got here.
I just got here in one place. That's all that
Yeah,
matters.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that was December. In August of last year, my apartment flooded, so that was a thing. So I was working. No, I wasn't working. I forgot what I was doing. I was on my. It was like in the morning. I was walking with my mom's dog, and I come back
Yeah.
in and I hear like leaking, like just water falling. And I'm like, why did I leave the shower on or whatever? And I went in there, and like this big old like stream was like coming down, and I was like, what the hell? And like my whole floor was like all flooded to the door. And I seen like the light bulbs, like they have the bowls over the light bulb,
Yeah.
filling up with water and like exploding. And I was just like, it was a terrible, terrible experience. And I was like, oh my God, this water's probably like electrified. Like I was so scared. And then I was like, my stuff, like all my furniture, all my, books and stuff like that. Like a lot of it was, it was lost in the flood. I got the dog out safely. They came out and fixed it, and I thought like the worst was over. I had renter's insurance, so I was good on that. I was able to get everything replaced I needed to get replaced, and then it happened again. Like a week later, it happened again. Not as bad.
I don't want to laugh, but it's just like,
Yeah,
what
yeah,
the hell? Like, what
yeah,
the actual hell?
yeah. It happened again, and so at
Jesus.
that point, I didn't feel safe in my own apartment. Like I was like, I need to get out of here. Like it caused me a lot
Yeah.
of anxiety. I was having like nightmares about it. Like I would wake up in the middle of the night, like, oh my God, like, is it gonna happen again? Am I gonna wake
Yeah.
up to like water everywhere? So
It was
yeah, it
like
was
COVID and then flood and then homeless guy and then move. It's just like,
yeah. So
like
yeah, so it's been pretty eventful like that. So so now we get into like the better stuff, like the better news. So like in August, I also started school. So I made a video, I think like in June or July, where I shared with everybody that I was going to start school. I felt like this was like the time, for me to do it.
Mhm.
To be completely honest, the reason I signed up for school was because I wanted the student discount for like the Adobe suite, like for editing my videos and like Photoshop and stuff like that. You get a pretty decent discount for being a student. I needed a student email, and so I registered and I was like, I'm just gonna take one class and just like dip my toe in the water, and then from there we'll see how it goes. And then I got like the study bug because I've always been really good in school. Like I always loved it. You never had to tell me to do my homework or make sure my work was done correctly or anything. I've always just been really good at school. So I like the fact that I could control my schedule, and the fact that
Mhm.
everything was done online was even better. I didn't have to go anywhere because of COVID. I was homeschooled for my 4 years of high school. So I taught myself all the subjects. That's how I earned my credits and stuff like that. So I was already like accustomed to doing it online anyway, like a self study. So it worked out for me. I went on there and I looked at different classes and I wanted to take everything. Like I just wanted to learn, like I love learning. And so I signed up for 18 units, like my first semester. I took like 3 full term classes and I think like 3 8-week classes.
Oh my
And
gosh, those
and
are
I
the
felt
worst.
and I felt
Those are
like
the worst.
it's not going to be too bad because one 8-week class was like the first 8 weeks, and then the other 2 were the second 8 weeks. So it's like I wasn't taking 6 classes at once. And
Mhm.
so when I was doing it, I got through it. Like I got through it. I earned all 18 credits. But I'll never do it again because those 8-week classes are so accelerated. I don't know what I was thinking, but I
I
felt
don't know,
it
but
was.
you and I look, I tried to tell you so many things. Like big sister over here tried to be like this and this and this and this, and you're just like you and your Taurus way is like, I'm gonna do it anyway. You gotta learn
I
those.
I feel like because I've been out of school for so long that I needed to like jumpstart myself.
Yeah, like yeah.
Yeah, because if I would have just took one class, like I would have been bored out of my mind. Like I would have read that whole like the textbook that you have to buy. I would have read it like cover to cover a couple times if it was just one
Oh
class.
my
So
gosh.
having to
I still don't have
multitask
my degree. I still don't have my degree. And everything's online. If you would like to be Yvonne O'Reilly, I would be so appreciative. I'm not above it.
right.
Above it.
Yeah, so yeah, but I like fell in love with it. I fell in love with going to school again, and like that's what kept me going when my family moved back, and I was like just on my own. Was school. School was like my escape and made me feel like I was making progress towards something. And I got it done. Like I got it done. Like I remember making a video on
You're
YouTube,
on
like
the
telling
Dean's
everybody,
List. You're on the
yeah,
Dean's List.
yeah.
You did such a good job. I mean, you're Mr. Brainiac.
Yeah, I was invited to join 2 honor societies.
So cool.
Yeah, it was. I'm really good at school. That's why I wanted to do it, and so I finished out that semester, and that really got me through a lot of like my free time. Because then your free time is like when you're thinking everything, like you're overthinking everything. So it was a good escape. It was a nice escape, and I just felt really accomplished. And I'm like, I can do this. I can really do this. Like I can earn my degree. Not as quickly as I want to. I will never torture myself like that again. but yeah, it was good. So that was the start of my my college career. I signed up for spring classes for this past spring, but that was like in the middle of me moving, and so I was falling behind as I was packing stuff and like organizing stuff. So I was like, you know what? I just made the executive decision to drop all the classes and then retake them in the next semester because I didn't want to waste the books because the books are so
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing. Yeah. So this coming fall, I'm taking the same classes that I was in spring for fall. So I don't waste the books because, dude, let me tell you, those books are not cheap. Like not even the used ones or like the rented ones. So I'm excited about school. I'm trying to like see these comments now.
I know the comments are flying. They're
I
flying.
pulled them up. Let me see. Where's it at?
The Crimson.
Where's
Adobe discount for the win for sure. I was just thinking, I'm like, I really need access to InDesign, and I would really like InDesign
Yeah,
for
Adobe
work. And I'm
Suite. It's
thinking of my
expensive. It's
old
like, yeah.
crazy expensive. And it's just like, God dang it. And I'm like, I
Well,
wonder if my old student email would work. Probably not.
Well, I'm old enough to remember when you're able to buy the programs like straight out, and like you can install them on your computer and that was it. Now it's a subscription. You can't buy it straight out anymore. You can either pay for it for a year or you can pay it on a monthly basis.
Yep.
And I was like,
Everything's gone that way.
yeah,
Everything's gone that way. QuickBooks that I'm working with does that. I just paid for a 3-year subscription, so I don't have to deal with it, at work. And then Microsoft Suite, all of it is going to a subscription.
Yep.
Mhm.
So like when I seen that there was like a student program, I was like, oh my god, okay, I gotta do this. So I needed an email with a .edu at once. So I mean, it worked out, and that's like my hobby that I enjoy, video editing even more now because like I'm able to use these like better programs than I was using before. So I'll be making videos pretty soon, and like editing them the way that I want, and just fall in love with that. Like I love snow orchid style videos. Like
Oh
I
my
love
God.
it's so good.
Oh my, it just drool. I mean, drool, drool. I mean, it's so aesthetically gorgeous. I mean, if people have asked me, they're just like, "Oh, you've met Noah, or you've met Tequila, or you've met Snow. What are they like?" And it's like Snow's videos is how she is on the inside. Like she really is this beautiful, just I mean, I y'all are amazing.
Yeah.
Y'all are amazing. I
Oh,
can't
thank
do
you.
that. I'm witch on the go. I was just like, look, I got this fancy camera. I'm gonna do some stuff, and I go, "Ror, ror, ror," and this is my
No,
style. This is it.
I really enjoy it, like getting to learn how to use the different things. Like these are programs that like movie makers use. You know what I mean? Like they know the ins and outs of all the Adobe suite and like the effects and stuff like that. Like this is how they do it, and so I'm just like, oh my god, this is how you do that, and this is how you do that. And so like when you learn the back end, then you watch movies in a different light. Like you don't watch them the same way. I still
Yeah,
watch them to enjoy them, but like I catch
right.
things that I know now. Like oh, I know how to do that. So it's really cool. It's really fun. And I feel like there's way more like stuff for me to film out here than there was in Texas because like I'm wanting to go outside now. Over there was just terrible like heat. Here
Yeah.
it's still pretty hot. During the summer here, but it hits you different. Like you have to like I literally want to carry an umbrella everywhere I go because it's like the sun hurts. It really hurts.
You know what? I didn't realize this, but we were vampires in Texas. We were vampires. We were
Yeah,
just like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah.
like if you ever came over to my house, it was dark, it was cold.
It was beautiful though. Like she had like this canopy, like tree setup,
Oh
like this
yeah.
all these
Oh,
trees, like
the oak.
branches, like yeah, it was just
Yeah.
amazing. So like yeah, there was all shade. There was no, like direct sunlight coming through. And so it was nice to be outside. But like as soon as you leave that area, like it's the sun's out and you can't escape that humidity like at all. But here you can. If you go in the shade anywhere, you're good. But like if you're under the direct sunlight, it hurts your skin. So
You,
um
you should come to Washington State in the summer and get away from the heat because, it's like so ridiculously hot. I mean, I think it gets up to like 75.
oh
Like,
my
I
god.
don't,
Oh my god, dude.
shade.
That is shade right there. Um, I'm trying to see the comments. Let's see. Um, what else did I want to talk about? Oh, I wanted to talk about mental health. So I wanted to bring some mental health awareness to our community because it's something that not a lot of people share, and it could be for a different reason or another. But I want to talk about it. So I have some mental disorders that I was diagnosed with a few years ago, and I've been dealing with them. And as I've progressed, I've come to know that therapy is like shadow work with help. Like it really is. And I've been in therapy for over 2 years now. And it's just like it's helped me heal a lot and like learn a lot about myself that I used to because I never really I thought I knew myself better than I knew myself, but then when I hit therapy, I was like, no, I really don't, because before I moved to Texas, I was like a robot for many years working at the
Mhm.
casinos here in California. I was working like all the time, and that's all I did. That's all I did was just work, pay bills, and that was it. Like I never went out, I never socialized, never made friends, nothing like that. And
Yeah.
so, if I were to like look back at the person I was then and now, like I wouldn't even recognize myself because I was just like super robotic, like no emotions, nothing. And so all that took a toll on me later on because it all like came pouring out at once. Like I remember I was telling you even the other day, like whoever created the Vampire Diaries knows about mental health. They really do because some of the things are a similar experience. Like the humanity switch. Like when they turn it off, they go numb and like they don't feel anything. They're whatever. When they turn it back on, everything rushes back. That's how it is. That's how it really is. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh my god, like that's so crazy, And then Bonnie's mom, so she was a witch, and like the witches in the show, they're very connected to nature. And so when she became a vampire, she was like really like depressed and like sad because she couldn't feel it anymore. And she was like outside in the garden and she couldn't feel it anymore. And so I felt like that too. And I was just like, oh my God, like, so whoever created the Vampire Diaries, the whole, that whole world, that whole universe knows a thing or two about like mental health, mental disorders and stuff like that. So thank you for bringing this up. I know it's so important. Yeah, it is important. So, it's nothing to be ashamed of. We've done a live stream on my channel for suicide, talking about that. There's no shame in that either. But when it comes to mental health, there's no shame. And I know people are embarrassed of it. They don't know how to, open up about it. They're scared to. They're scared to be seen in a different way. They don't want to be seen, like they're fragile or, they're crazy. They're gonna flip out at any moment. It's not like that. Like, everybody's different, and so.
Well, think about it. Think about it in the workplace. Even at school. That type of thing. I also have anxiety and dealing with some stuff, and I think today was the first day that I actually felt like myself. In a while. So it's been hard. I had a really difficult episode during Mother's Day, and I came on just to be transparent about it, but also to kind of like check myself.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? It's like, if I don't say this out loud, then it never happened and I could hide it away.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I would rather just like, I don't need to go into all the details. Some of you guys absolutely know. And I thank you very much for your support. Those that are watching in the chat, thank you so much. These horrible thoughts come creeping back in. And when you're in it, it's like, that that's a lie, but it's really convincing. And then your emotions sort of like take over, and it's like you're here, but nobody can like really get to you. They're trying. Then you can kind of hear them faintly, but you're just like sitting there in front of whatever this is and just believing this crap.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so painful. It's just so incredibly painful. And, society wants us to be perfect. There's so much, and especially with like cancel culture and all this other stuff, that it's just like, we have to be correct with the responses all the time. And you've got to be like, you know what I mean? It's like, even in the workplace, you're not allowed to be an emotional person. You're not allowed to really share your thoughts or feelings. You're not really allowed to be a human being. They want you to be that robot. They want you to have the right response for the right thing all the time. And then you come home and you got to do that for your family. And then you got to do it for your friends. Like, when does it stop?
Mm-hmm, exactly.
When the hell does it stop? When do you get to just be yourself?
Yeah, I agree. Completely
it's hard.
agree.
It's hard.
Like Cliff Note version. So like 2011, like the end of 2011 is when I started at the casinos. I was 21 years old, and up until like January of 2017, I worked all those years at the casinos here in the Long Beach area. And it was mandatory overtime. Like, we couldn't like not stay because it was part of the job description. We had to, and they're always shorthanded because people would quit because they couldn't handle it, but I needed the job, and it was the most decent amount of money you can make out here to make it out here without having an education. And even then, I was making more than people that had degrees, So I did that for 6 years straight. I had very little days off. I had very little vacation time off. The time that I did have off is when I call out sick, and I rarely ever get sick. So every time I called out sick, I really wasn't sick. I was just like, I need a day off. I even had to call out on my birthday because they wouldn't give it to me off. I'm just like, I'm here on Christmas Day with you guys, on Thanksgiving Day. Like, I'm here these days. I just want my birthday off. It's in the middle of the week. Why can't I do it? So I was just like, yeah. So I was in a really dark place before I left to Texas. I saw the world a lot differently. That's when I was barely getting into back into my path. I started like, I kind of like took the cloak over myself and like, seeing the world like in a totally different way. And then when I came here, I was just like so ready to, I had a blank slate, and
Yeah.
so, um, okay, so I want to share this with everybody, but I also don't want to make you cry. But if you cry, it's okay. So you guys don't understand.
Oh. Me? Cry
Yeah, yeah.
all the time. All the time. I'm gonna be like this. Okay, what? Just
Okay.
say it. What?
All right, you guys. So you guys know that me and Raven are best friends. We're like brother and sister. When we first met, it was like we already knew each other. Like I had reached out to her a few months prior to me moving to Texas, and that was like our first ever talk. And then when I got to Texas, she reached out, and she was like, can I have a link to your channel? And I sent it to her so she can watch it and get like a feel for me. And I understood, And when I went to Starbucks to meet up with her and her husband, we sat there for like maybe like an hour. And
Yeah.
by then we are already like super familiar. Like that never happens for me, like ever, ever. Like if it was anybody else, like it would have taken me a few tries to like, before I even like broke ground and was like, okay, I'm gonna let you in just a little bit, but we're just like super familiar, like to the point where like they took me in their car, they drove me around to show me around, and her husband dropped us off at the college.
You wanted to go to Northwest Vista, and Bear and I were already going and taking classes there, at nighttime. I just wanted you to feel familiar in a space. Being new in a place is not fun sometimes.
Yeah, so she took me there, and her husband dropped us off, and I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, oh my god, like they must really trust me, because like there was nobody on campus. It was just me and her. It was in broad daylight, but still, like I'm a big guy, and but I was just like in my head, I'm like, oh my god, yeah, oh yeah, you can hold your own. I'm pretty sure. But that was my first thought, So I was just like, wow. And then we were like walking. We had a really awesome talk, and really awesome experiencing the different animals, and like that tree branch that fell. I still have it. And that was like the start of our relationship. But like my life changed so much because of you, Raven. So like I found a job at USAA, and in Texas, that's like a super awesome, amazing job. I loved working there, but it wouldn't have happened without Raven's help. So I applied. I applied.
Not on your own. You did all of that on your own.
Let me finish. So I applied. I interviewed, and I aced the interview over the phone. I had to go on campus, and when you go on campus, you have to have a valid identification card, and I didn't have one. Mine expired on my birthday.
Oh, I remember.
So it was so hard. It was so hard to get a driver license in Texas when I first got there, because you needed to have a valid address to get one. And I was like, I do have one, but like I couldn't prove it. I didn't have any mail at my brother's house to prove it. And so they were making it. I went to the DMV 3 different times, and like I couldn't. They were like, nope, we can't do it. I'm just like, what the hell? So if I didn't get this damn card, I wouldn't have got the job. I was gonna be passed up, whatever. So
and your brother and your sister-in-law wouldn't like
they wouldn't
sign
go.
anything. Yeah. I don't know what was going on there.
I asked the people at the DMV, I was like, so what if like somebody's like truly homeless? How do they get an ID? Well, they'll have to have some sort of address. I was like, so you're telling me there's a lot of unidentified people here in Texas just because they're homeless? Like, it doesn't make sense,
Yeah.
So I asked my brother and sister-in-law if they can go. They were able to like sign something saying that I'm renting from them, and that would have been enough to prove. And at first they said yes, and then it was a no. So I was like, oh my god, dude, like this is like the once in a lifetime opportunity for me to get in with this company, and it was going to be taken away from me. It was out of my control. And then Raven stepped up, and like I said, we only knew each other for like a few weeks at that time, and she was like, well, I'll do it. And so she got out of work early. She brought like this big old stack of mail to prove that was her address, and she went over there so that I was living with her. And so we signed that my address for my first ID has her address on it because of that. And because of her, I got that job. And
we stayed at the DMV for a long time. And then we went promptly to go have margaritas after because we deserved it.
Yes. Like and in my head all the time, just like thinking, I'm like, nobody has ever done something like this for me. Like, like to leave work early, you're losing out on money. To sit there with me in a DMV, it's like miserable. But we're in good company with each other. But I'm just like in my head, I'm like, nobody would do this. And like, I've only known her for like so few, a little bit of time, you know. I was just like so taken back, like, oh my God, this is like, she's so amazing. And like, there's not enough, you know, gratitude that I can give you, Amber, for doing that for me, because you helped me, you know, get myself rooted there, get that job, and help my family in ways that, you know, I wouldn't have been able to without you, you know. And so like your little, it was like a ripple effect, you know, like you put a little drop in the water and it just caused all these big positive changes in my life. And I'm so grateful for that. So that job, you know, they actually treat you like human beings there. You know, they give you a lot of time off. Like I was telling Raven, I was like, dude, we get like 2.5 to like 3 months off at a time paid, you know, after so much time there. You know, you can do that, you can, you know, move around within the company. It's just like really amazing company to work for. And I was so grateful that I got in there. And
Dog is trying to steal your thunder.
It took me like about 1.5 years working there to get into my own apartment. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's something, again, like I was like, you know, Raven, help me get this. I got this apartment, you know, because of Raven's help, because of that one, you know, kind act, I was able to do all these things. I got my own apartment. I was able to furnish it all at once, and I have to like build and like buy things here and there. I furnished it all at once. I, you know, paid to get my family here. You know, I helped them get.
You keep talking. I gotta let this dog out. She's not gonna leave me alone. Hang on a second.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, so I was able to get my family here. I was able to help, you know, them get on their feet, you know, and support them financially for a little while. And, you know, just all the different things that happened. Like I was able to like actually like, you know, venture out and like see different things, meet different people because of Raven. You know, Raven definitely took me under her wing. And like, I think I've explored more of Texas than I ever did of California. I lived here all my life. And so it was just, you know, a beautiful friendship that I was blessed with. And like, it's going to be lifelong, you know. But yeah, so you guys don't really get to see that, you know. You guys only see what, you know, whenever we come on here on YouTube, you know, us and we get questioned a lot, you know, like, are you guys just doing it like for YouTube? Like, are you guys really friends? And these are like true friendships, genuine, authentic friendships. And like there's just some stuff that you want to keep to yourself, you know, because it's personal, and you know, you don't feel comfortable or whatever. But like at a point, you know, I felt like, you know, like people need to know this, you know what I mean? Like people need to know this, because we get a lot of grief. Like we get a lot of, not to be a Debbie Downer, but we get a lot of grief from people, you know, like different things, like assuming different things, and like, you know, just a lot of crap. And so I'm really glad that we're able to, you know, get past that, not even, you know, pay attention to it, and move forward, you know. So you know, when I moved to Texas, like for example, I was getting like, you just moved to Texas so you can get to know Tequila and, you know, Trina and Raven. And I'm like, oh yeah, I like took my whole life in California and moved here to meet these people and like be around them. Like, yeah, I did that. That sounds like something I would do. You know, just like off the wall stuff. But
well, I appreciate all your kind words, and I'm interrupting you, and I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Not sorry. You know, I say it's just like there's these people that come into our lives, and they change it. And when I started my channel, I was really searching for like-minded individuals, because I was leaving the church and I was going through a really difficult time with teenagers that, you know, just don't really, you know, you have these wonderful kids that were around you all the time and wanted to be with you, and now they're like, ugh. You know, it was horrible teenage years, and it was old teenage years, or, you know, almost young adult situation. And it was so difficult for me. And I was working at a job that I freaking hated. I loved doing the work, but the people and the atmosphere was really bad. It was really hard, and it was a lot. And you coming and us having the relationship that we have, you know, and as well as others, like, you know, Tequila is freaking amazing as well. And you go to her and you just look into her eyes, and they're like these sparkly, lovely, I don't know, you could just see the magic like through it. She's awesome. You know, Trina, Snow is like, you, me, and Snow are like the three amigos, drunk 1, 2, and 3, and we just fit together. I don't know what it is. It's just it's magic. I think it's just
Oh
magic,
yeah.
but it's like the universe absolutely gave me you when I needed somebody. And I guess I was that for you as well.
Yeah,
And it's like,
absolutely.
I can't imagine my life without this tribe anymore. I
Mhm.
would probably just shrivel and die. To be quite frankly honest, I would probably shrivel and die. I have an amazing husband. I have really great kids, but there's something to be said when you have that close friendship that touches your heart like nobody else can. And you guys are it for me. You guys are
Aw,
totally it for me. And
I
that's
feel the
why
same.
we get a bunch of shade because people are jealous. And I've heard so many things. I mean, I've heard so many things. Although I got some person messaging me telling me that Bear's leg is not really gone and that he's faking his amputation.
Oh
I
my
mean, it
god.
goes as far as that. So it's like us YouTubers having genuine connections, people get jealous of it because maybe they don't have it in their own lives. You get out there. You got to go outside your house at some
Yeah,
point.
yeah, yeah.
We found it with each other because we took those chances. It was hard. It was scary. I almost threw up like 3 times when I was driving to meet Trina the first time. And then
Oh,
Snow, you had to talk me in getting into the car because I thought I wasn't like good enough. I'm like, have you seen her
aw.
videos? She's amazing. You remember?
Yeah.
Like, we
No,
all go through these things.
it was magic, and like after like what 2 3 months of knowing you, we did that the first 24-hour chat at your house. That was another thing. I was like, I'm gonna be at this lady's house for 24 hours. Like I just like I loved every bit of it. You know what I mean? I loved like how we became close so fast, and like we were trusting with each other so fast. But on the backside, because of my anxiety, I'm just thinking like, is this real? Like, is this really happening? And when Tequila surprised us, that was
That was
like
so
that was
cool.
incredible. That was the first time I ever met her, and so just like thinking back, like when I was here in California, watching people on YouTube, like she was one of the first ones that I was watching, like all the time whenever she would post. To go from that to watching her to like actually meeting her was like absolutely amazing, and she's another one. Like I'm so blessed to to have her in my life. Like we're way more than acquaintances, we're way more than friends. We're family,
Yeah,
and
we're chosen family. We are chosen family.
that was another thing. Like when we had that get together, when we went over there for the first time, like I'm thinking of how like she has kids and she's gonna allow me to go over there, like because I'm very like protective, very overprotective with my siblings and like their kids and stuff like that. So like I'm just like I wouldn't let somebody I didn't know in my house like that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, come visit for the day, whatever. But like to stay there for the weekend, like I was just like, oh my god, like they really
I know.
trust me. They're really like, you guys are going with your gut feelings, your judge of character and your intuition, to like let me in. And I'm like so appreciative, and like I'm happy that that's what I give off. You know what I mean? I'm happy that I also feel like privileged to have this type of trust in the community, because there's tons of people on here that tell me all the time, if you're ever in this area, you have a place to stay. If you're ever in this area, you have a place to stay. And I'm just like, oh my god, that's so amazing. I really appreciate it. So like meeting you guys, getting to know you guys, and like to where we're at now, like I never would have thought like this would have happened, and like I always said once I got there, like I was never going to come back to California. It was too expensive, and I never thought that I would come back. Like my next move was to Washington, but like just the way that life works out, you kind of just have to go with the flow sometimes. You can't. I didn't want to swim against the current. I was just like, you know what, like I need to be with my family. I want to be with my family. I need to make sure that I'm doing this move for me and not for them.
Right.
And so I sat with myself for a long time to decide, okay, I'm going to go back. And I was scared. I was scared out of my mind. I was like, dude, what if I can't find the same line of work? I don't want to go back to the casinos. I don't want to go back to that life. I don't want to go back to being stuck. That was like my biggest fear of going back to the way I was before. And on the drive there, that kind of like went out the door. I was like, you know what? It's only going to go back there if I allow it to. Like I've grown so much since I've been there last. I'm only going to go backwards if I allow myself to go backwards. And so with that, I was just like, oh my god, like wow, like I'm so, confident in the way that I'm thinking now, the way that I'm talking now, and I was never like this before, like I'm telling you, if you would have met me back when I was in California, I don't think we'd be as close as we were because I was really like super quiet. I was really like just short. I was very short. Like I just, totally
Noah, do
different
you know how
person.
tall you are?
Like I'm talking about short speaking, like short responses. That's what I
Little quick responses and things like that. I
meant.
would have pulled it out of you. I would have pulled it out of you. I do it to everybody
No,
else.
honestly, no. I'm telling you, like it was bad. Like if you ask my sister Vettel, she'll tell you the same thing. She was like, "You
Really.
were, yeah." She was just because we were living in these apartments. I didn't even know that she lived in them either. Like when we moved in there, my mom was talking to her because my mom was like her mom, and Vettel went for a walk and she walked over to our apartment, and then I was like, hey, like I haven't seen her in a while, whatever, and then she told me that she lived there. And so when she first came over, I was like, oh my god, when are they leaving? Like I was just like really bad. Like I was so antisocial. And I don't know, something just like clicked in me where I was just like, you know what, these are good people, and I'm really glad that I got close with them. And so my mom to this day is so grateful for you and Bear. She's like, the what you had, the relationship that you built with Beto, that's like once in a lifetime thing, and you got it twice. You got it with Raven too. Like you guys have the same type of relationship, brother sister relationship. And so I'm just like, I'm so grateful. I feel so grateful that you're in my life. And I was telling them when you were gone, when into Luna out, that like I've seen a lot more of Texas than I have of California, and that's because of you, because you took me everywhere. You're like, we're gonna go to the Renaissance Festival in like Houston, let's go. We're gonna go see Tequila in Dallas, let's go. We're gonna go to the Crystal Shop in Austin, let's go. So it's just,
because I am a travel witch.
yes.
It shouldn't have been Ravenflower. It should have been, Raven flies the coop or something. I don't know. Because I am like, I got the travel bug and I like to experience things. And, it's funny because we're all talking about, you guys coming and visiting, and possibly for the witchy meet and greet that I'm putting on here in September. I found a place about an hour and a half away from us where it is a whole room. It's a spa, but it's a whole room of like amethyst. And then there's another room that has like Himalayan salt where you sit and, with the bare feet in a chair, and it's all heated. And then like, there's all these things and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a witching spa.
Wow.
We need to go. We need to go.
Oh my gosh.
So cool.
I hope it works out and I can, because like right now, like I need to figure out school and work schedule, because right now I'm free, but like by then I might not be. And
That's
I might be too new at a job to take off time. So like, I'm going to just keep it up in the air and do my best to get there.
Just a long weekend. Just a long weekend. You already have 2 days off. Just ask for 1 day.
Yeah, exactly.
1 day.
Exactly, yeah. So I'm hoping that it works out, because I really like, you guys sold me. Like it's so crazy, because like a lot of people give me grief. They're like, you're following Raven. I was like, damn right, I'm following Raven. Like she sold me on Washington. She sold all the witches on Washington. Like even Tequila.
I already had Fun Move here. Fluff Bunny is here, and she's on the next landmass over. Like no joke. And then I've got others that are just like, I could, and I'm like, you might wanna.
I'm completely sold. Like Tequila loves it. She'll never move out of Texas, she says. But I know that she'll visit a lot because she loves us and she loves the Washington. But like, you guys always getting like all these photos and like videos like every day, of their different ventures out and like their beach combing. I'm just like, I want that so bad. Like the weather
planting
is
seeds.
Me.
I'm planting seeds. That's what I'm doing.
The weather is like all me, and like but the fact that she's like near the beach and like the mountains, like the forest, I'm just like, oh my god, like I want that so bad. And so
like
I'll make it there.
This is my porch right now. Let me see if I can move it this way. That's what I'm looking at. I'm kind of like in a treehouse. So yeah, I'm kind of like in a treehouse, here on my back porch. It's where my other. Yeah,
I'm sold. I'm sold. Like, and then you're like, oh, you experience all 4 seasons here. Like, they aren't just like, spring is summer in Texas and fall is summer in Texas, and winter is like 2 weeks, and then you go back to fall, summer again.
You're like hot, wet, cold, hot, cold, wet. You're like, what am I doing?
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
it was all bad, but yeah, I'm happy to be home. I'm gonna make the best of it while I'm here. I'm really enjoying the time I have with my immediate family. Me and my two younger siblings are very close, and my youngest sister has three boys. They're 6, 3, and gonna be 2. And
Mhm.
so I'm like eating them up. Like I love hanging out with them. I love going over there. Like I look forward to going over there. And I just I'm gonna make the best of me being here while I'm here, but I definitely want to settle in Washington. Like that's like it for me. Once I get there, like I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
definitely not driving there. I'm gonna have my stuff moved over there for me if I take anything. I'm
But
not
you can
driving
always
ever
take the
again.
train. You can take the train straight up. And when I was at Mountain Rose Herbs, and then I went to Roseburg, Oregon, that was like the closest I got to you. And I like looked it up on maps. I'm like, Noah, I'm only 11 hours away from you. I
Yeah.
really keep going down the coast.
Yeah. I'm not gonna. When I move there, I'm not driving. I'm gonna pay somebody to drive my car. Like I am so done. When I drove from California to Texas, I was like, I know that I'm gonna be in Texas forever because I'll never drive back. Like I hate it. I hated the drive. And then driving
Oh,
back, I was like, there's no going back now. Like I'm driving with this big ass thing behind me. Like there's no going back. I just have to keep going forward and keep trucking,
yeah.
you know?
But you did it. You did it. I love to drive. I mean, you plan it out for me. I will be your driver. I don't know if I can do no tow hitch. That's not going to happen. But I could like, we could caravan. I love to drive. I will listen to books on tape. I will pretend like I am at karaoke. Like I will in my car. We will have long talks. It's actually a lot of fun for me. But I know you're like, no, no drive.
No, I didn't
No.
even like when we're gonna go visit Tequila. Like I was so nervous. Like my anxiety was like through the roof
Well, it's
because it's
5
like
hours.
so
Yeah, it's 5 hours
far.
from San Antonio.
Yeah, I would like I was looking forward to it, like hanging out with everybody and stuff like that. But like that drive, like up until the day that I went, I was just like, oh my god, I don't want to drive up there, you know. And that's why I chose to go so early in the morning. You know, like I was like, no, we got to leave like at 6 a.m. and we would get there under 5 hours doing that. But like, yeah, and the drive
Snow
home
is
was,
such a good sport.
oh yeah, she's
She
my
is like the
co-pilot.
best travel companion.
She's my
She's
co-pilot
always
for
like,
sure.
okay, we'll do it. Like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, she's
Just
forever my
goes with it.
co-pilot. Like, yeah, I love her. Oh, Renee's in the chat. Renee's another one. Oh my god. Okay, so like Renee helped me move here. Like I've mentioned that before already. Like so, I met Renee. It was crazy. Like I feel like it was another friendship that was like meant to happen because I found her on YouTube when she was leaving
Mhm.
YouTube. Like one of the last videos she made was like kind of like a goodbye video, and I'm like, please don't leave. Like I just found you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and we became really good friends. And then I was like scared out of my mind to drive to Texas and like come over here. And like she helped, uh, she helped with her magic to like get me here. And I was so grateful. I'll never forget that. And then when we were talking like on Hangouts, back and forth,
Yeah.
but we didn't actually meet physically until the meet and greet, which is
Yeah.
like amazing because those are things that you do. Like I'm always telling you, like you do so much for this community, and you bring everybody together and you keep everybody involved and you keep the morale up. And it's just like, I'm so grateful that you're here. And I hope
Thank
that you don't
you.
leave for a long time.
Thank you. Well, I mean, we've got 2 meet and greets planning right now. So that's a thing. So, and I just got the official word from the city of Coopville, where Practical Magic was found. Plug. That we are confirmed.
Ooh,
We are confirmed. So tickets are going on sale very soon because I just started doing those and those should be coming in the mail and I'm super excited. And then we're doing 2023, right? And I got my years right. So 2021 Coopville and then 2023 New Orleans and cruise.
yeah.
So that is a two-parter. That is a weekend
Oh, it's
meet and
2022,
greet.
right? Yeah.
2023, right?
No, I think it's 2022.
No.
Snow knows.
I know because you guys hear of your tickets and I
Well,
have the group.
because it's 2021 now, so like we had like a year and a half to pay for it, right?
Yes, but I'm going to Alaska in 2022. I don't know where you're all going. I'm going to Alaska.
I thought it was 2022. Is it 2023?
It's 2023. So we have 2021, and then I've asked my husband how he feels about inviting people to, book a, cruise to Alaska if they want that experience. And so we're going to open that up as another meet and greet if you guys want to. It's leaving out of Seattle, I believe, and going up, I think it's a 7-day. So there's that. And that was supposed to be Bear and my 20th anniversary present to each other. And then COVID shut it all down. So we had to rebook for 2022. And so then 2023, we'll have the Friday and Saturday fun in New Orleans, and then those that decided to do the cruise will jump on the cruise. So there's actually several people going, like several people.
Well, because we're doing it like super in advance, letting everybody know that it's happening, So I feel like there's going to be a nice group going. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be a great group of people. And most of the time I get nervous. Like for this meet and greet that's on the island, there's a lot of island locals. And like their witchcraft is not like our witchcraft. And then we're over here, these, sort of intuitive, eclectic witches, and they're more Wiccan and earthy and earthy spiritualist. And I'm like, and I always worry, I'm like, is this person going to get along with this person, or is that person going to along with that person? But what happens at these things? You'll get people that will just sort of like ease on up and be like a part of the crowd, but not say anything. You've seen it, right? You've seen it happen. Yeah. And then they'll just like look at us and like a little fangirly, and we're like, what's happening? Like, we're just people, like we don't like what's going on. And then we just start talking, and people just naturally sort of sync up. It's really, really neat. And I think it's really, really important for a lot of us that are, solitary practitioners that are alone in their homes, and they need to be able to bounce stuff off of each other. They need to not feel alone, when they're doing certain things. They're like, okay, what are you using eggshells for? I don't know. I use roses for this. This kind of thing is very helpful. And it builds your confidence in your practice when you have like-minded individuals. There's something about that fellowship that is so important. And so I will always put on a meet and greet. It drives me insane, but I'm going to do it.
I enjoyed the it was the second witch meet and greet that I went to.
You went to the second one. Yeah.
The second one. Yeah. So that one was awesome. So I met her, their name is Florian. They brought a drum that they made, right?
Yes. It was gorgeous.
That was beautiful. And then
beautiful.
She was like, I think she was like spinning yarn for like knitting for later or something like that. She was doing, I guess it was like her like nervous fidget thingy. But that like, it was really cool to meet them.
Tiffany and her husband, we got to meet them. They're like super like
totally clicked. Like I can't wait till New Orleans I can see them.
I can't wait. It's going to be fabulous. It's going to be fabulous. Absolutely fabulous.
Super excited.
Yep.
So, it's been like an hour. Should we open up to questions?
Yeah, you can open up to questions. I'm like, okay, so the people are flying in, what is it? Girl, my spirit will haunt that boat for years. Renee, I love you so much, Renee. I love you so much. Oh gosh. Okay. Yes, if those people, fabulous people in the chat that we're not ignoring you, but you guys are just typing very quickly, and we still have to have a conversation here. So anyhow, if you have a question for Noah or myself, please put it in bold in the chat. We will bring it up. I will bring it up on screen for Noah to answer or myself to answer. And ready, set, go.
Go. Do you have any questions for me, Raven?
Do I have any questions for you? I kind of had, it's not a question, but it is an observation. So because I am like the Virgo of Virgos, I noticed a long time ago, like you were in Texas for about a year and you never changed your profile location. You always left it for LA. And I'm like, I wonder if that means that he's not going to be here for long. I'd always sort of looked at that and I'm like, I see you. I see you. And I'm like, you better not be leaving me. And then I went and moved to Washington.
I left it like that because I didn't want like a lot of people, trying to figure out where I was in San Antonio, because before I left, there were a few people on Instagram that were like, I'm in San Antonio. And so it's not that I didn't want to meet them. It was just like, I
Yeah.
kind of want to get grounded there first and like know my way around before. And I would go to places and like people would like stare at me, and
Yeah.
some of them would stare at me because I'm tall, but others would stare at me because they knew me from YouTube, but they were too scared to say anything. And I was just like, I'm just gonna leave it in LA. And so in the beginning, when I moved here to Texas, in my live streams, I would be like, I'm in Texas, but I never said where, and I said I live like 12 minutes away from Raven, but I never said where.
Never said where. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. And yeah, I noticed that too when I went, because when I started school, I unplugged completely back in August from all of my social media, even my personal ones, because I was always on my phone, like always like checking everything. And I'm like, no, I need to like get in the zone and do my work and my homework and stuff like that. So I completely unplugged. And so I didn't, I think I signed on like once I moved back here. I signed back onto my personal profile and I seen that it was still LA. And I was like, oh, wow. I didn't realize I never changed it. Like I thought I did at some point, but I didn't.
Okay, question from Renee.
What is helping you with finding wholeness right now? I feel like I said earlier, like the therapy is like shadow work, it's like guided shadow work. And in therapy, I talk very openly, like I take full advantage, because that's another thing that I want to, encourage people to do is, do the work in therapy and don't just go,
Yeah.
Do the work. That's the only way you're going to heal yourself is if you, do the work. You can't expect them, like they're not there to, heal you and like work miracles. Like you really have to open up and you also have to be ready. You have to be ready to, open up those wounds and stuff like that so that you can heal correctly and they're not going to be, like what figurative scars,
Figurative scars.
Yeah. So therapy's helping a lot. I see a therapist at least twice a month, sometimes more if I can afford it. But also just like being here, like back in California, like I remember when I first got here, I messaged Raven. I was like, I feel like connected again. Like I felt like I hadn't felt like the earth's energies in like forever. And like, I took a lot of the little things for granted living here my whole life. Like the mountains, like in Texas is all flat. So like there's nothing, it's just, ongoing sky forever. But here you can see like the mountains all around. And I'm just like, oh my God, they're so beautiful. I'm like, before it was just like, they were always there. I never thought anything about it.
Yeah.
But I'm just like the mountains. And so like when I go outside and like I'm chanting, I literally feel the mountain's energy and they're like kind of far away still, but like I feel it. And like the weather hits differently. There's different energies in the air and it's a lot is very familiar. I'm starting to feel like the elemental spirits that I used to feel like they were like dead for me in Texas, but here it's like they never came with me. They're here now. I'm able to like communicate.
Interesting. Huh.
Yeah. So
interesting. I do remember our first conversation when you were back in California, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you sound like yourself. Like you sound so much better. Like you did. You just and there's something about the geographical location and I don't know. There's a it's like a piece of the puzzle. It's like a piece of the puzzle. And in Texas, I like no joke. Like I miss my family and I do miss, my friends that are still there. I miss the food. Oh, do I? This fat girl misses the food so bad. I'm like, you don't have no idea. But I also felt stifled, landlocked, like I was a prisoner in a place I didn't belong. That's how I really felt most of the time. And I kept myself busy and I kept myself active and I was there for my kids because that was their home. But I was just like, this is not where I need to be. It's just not where I need to be. Okay, we have to catch up because we are talking too much. We are talking too much. And Laura has a point. And Laura, I agree. Absolutely. He's not going to win this poke war. And I don't know how the poke war got started again, but I poked him twice today.
So me and Devin Hunter are friends on Facebook and he reshared somebody's post that says that pokes were still a thing. And I'm like, they're still a thing. And so I went looking for it. Couldn't find it, so I Googled it and I found out how to do it. And so I poked all my friends and started a poke war with everybody. And like I'm always on my phone, so like I'm gonna win no matter what because I'm always on my phone. And I'm gonna periodically like post the rallies, like how many times we poked each other back and forth. And
Oh,
you guys are
yeah.
gonna get like you guys are gonna get competitive because like you
Yeah.
could be winning one day and then the next day you're like on the bottom of the list.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm serious. Yeah, like it's because it all depends on the it's like partnership. You know what I mean? Like me and you could be poking back and forth like every time, like every few seconds, and then me and Laura like every couple minutes. So those pokes can add up, and so like I'm gonna periodically post. Who's where.
now
Like
poke? Can I poke and just like repeatedly poke, or do I have to wait for you to poke back?
Yep,
Okay.
exactly. That's why I
Okay.
said it's a partnership. Yeah, it's a partnership.
Damn it.
Go back and
Damn it.
forth.
Okay. All right.
And so it notifies you, like it tells us like so and so poked you, and then you just push poke back, and like you go back and forth. So it was a thing back in the day on Facebook. Like there was an actual button on everybody's profile where
Yeah.
there was no real use for it other than poking them just to grab their attention or
Yeah.
annoy the hell out of them, because it would give you a notification on your phone just like it would a
That's true.
message or anything. So I thought it was gone forever, and then when I seen that post, I went looking for it, and I found it, and I started poking every. And then I looked on my list, and there was like pokes from like 2017 on there that I never poked back, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna leave those ones alone. But okay, so Crimson says Noah, has the move shifted how you practice your craft? Absolutely, yeah. So you guys, I am like a sea witch through and through, and there was like no way about it in Texas. I remember when I first met Raven, like I was like, I want to go to the beach. I hear there's like many beaches. She's like, they're not the same. They're really not the same. And like you can go to like the Gulf Coast area, but like it's a really long drive. And like I was just like kind of bummed. And then when we went on the cruise, like the water was green, and I was like, it's green. And so I was trying to explain, or in the beginning it was green, like when we were getting on, it was green. And I was telling Snow, I was like, it's gonna turn like really beautiful blue. And she's like,
it's gonna turn beautiful blue. Yeah, I remember that when my first cruise out of Galveston, I was like, oh, that's the water. And then we got out about 5 miles, and then it was like cobalt, gorgeous blue. And then when we get to Mexico, it's like this
clear almost
aqua diamond gorgeousness. I mean, it's just amazing, absolutely amazing.
So I am venturing out more like into nature because, like I said, like the weather's bearable here. As long as you're in shade, you're good. So I bought like that sun hat that I bought in Cozumel.
Yeah.
So I bought a few more of those. So I'm taking those out when I go hiking, just so like because I don't like getting dark and like burning. Like I like being comfortable and being able to like move my face and not hurt.
I know, we are like the whitest Hispanic people ever. I mean,
yeah, so I'm just like, okay, so I have no shame. Like when I go to like my I remember when I was in Texas, I was going to my nephew's baseball game. I was the only one out there with an umbrella. Like I had no shame. There was like so much sun. I had an umbrella, and then all my family was like trying to get up underneath it with me to get shade. I have no shame. I don't care. Like I everybody stares at me anyways because I'm so big. Like they can look at me with a big ass beach umbrella. I don't care. But yeah, so getting out in nature more. I found a lot of hiking trails around this area. I'm meeting a lot of different people. Like through Instagram and stuff like that. Like they're like, oh, I live in California, I live in this area, whatever. I'm down to drive down where you're at or up to where you're at, whatever. To like meet up and stuff like that. So I found a couple hiking trails, and they have like little waterfalls that I want to go to and collect water and just like see what I can find there, And then of course the beach is a little further out. Like I'm not in LA right now. LA was like a half-hour drive to the beach. Now it's like an hour and like 20-minute drive, which still isn't bad. Like I don't mind doing it because I love the beach. And I'm actually going on the 23rd. My sister Veto's birthday is the 23rd.
Oh.
And they bought a camper, I think last year. They bought a camper last year, a brand new camper, and they're going to take it out there. So like we're going to go at like 5 a.m, drive out there, and then get our spot. And that's how we do it. Like we get our spot, we go to sleep, and then 9 o'clock we wake up and there's like all these people around. But we have our pit and we have our spot, So So definitely a lot of sea witchery, coming back. That's how it was before, and so definitely a shift for sure.
Good deal. Good deal. I feel you on it. For sure. Okay, here's one from Mark.
Let's see. Let me see. Do you think some of Bible got some occult knowledge, Noah? Absolutely. I don't like to say that it's stolen because I really don't know, like, all of the like the facts and like the background and the history and stuff like that to say that it's stolen.
Mhm.
I know that a lot of it has been adapted. I can say that. I think it's like a kinder way to say it, or like a polite way to say it.
Like a different spin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been adapted. I do know for a fact that witchcraft and the like have been around a lot longer than Christianity, and so of course, like a lot of the holidays are pulled from paganism. So yeah, if that answers your question.
Mhm. Yep, for sure. And from Random, hello, Random.
Gosh, so glad you're here. I was talking to them yesterday. They told me they would try to make it, so I'm glad they're here. Let's see. What is something small that brings you joy recently? This is for both of us.
Okay.
Um, my nephews, absolutely my nephews. So like so I came to visit back in October of last year, and I was so nervous because my sister had two kids when she moved in with me in Texas. She had like a newborn baby. I think he was like 5 or 6 months old, and
Mhm.
I didn't think her oldest was like 4 at the time. And so like I got really attached to the baby in that time. Like I just like super, super attached. And so he was so small, I was nervous that he wasn't gonna remember me when I came to visit. I was so nervous. Like I was like already like, trying to talk myself like to not get heartbroken if he doesn't, because you know how
No.
kids get like really shy or like scared when they meet new
Yes.
people. So I was like so nervous. I remember going over there. So my sister's the apartment that I'm staying in now is used to be my other sister. I have two younger sisters. The second youngest is the apartment I'm living in now. She went to live with her in-laws, and I'm in her apartment now. I took it over. My youngest sister lives like a little ways away, but in the same complex. And so I didn't know where it was. So when I was walking over there, my sister went into the patio. She's upstairs, and I'm downstairs. And she was like waving me where she was at. And so when I walked closer, her 2-year-old locked her in the patio. He like closed the sliding door and he locked the latch. And he can lock it, but he can't unlock it. So she was locked in the patio, and she was like, "Oh my god, the kids are in there by themselves. Like, oh, what are we gonna do?" And I was like, "I could break down the door, but like you're gonna have to pay for like the frame to be repaired." And she's like, "Just do it." So I was like banging it in, and I'm just like, "Well, call the kids to the window so I don't like hit them," because I was really
Yeah.
like I was gonna break into like the cops. Like she was
Oh,
so
yeah.
scared. And so she was like, no, no, no. She goes, you know what? Don't break it. Don't break it. She's like, I'll go get a key from the leasing office. So her patio, between her patio and the neighbor's patio, there's the stairs, a flight of stairs. So what I
Mhm.
did was, because I'm so tall, I was able to like get to the stairs, put my arms out, anchor them down, and she kind of like used me, to like get to like to push
Like a
herself.
ladder.
Yeah, yeah. So she got down safely, and then she ran up and got the key, and we got in. And so that moment, I was singing to them at the door so they wouldn't cry, and they were like they were fine, they were okay, like they weren't crying, they weren't scared. When they opened up the door and he seen me, he like lit up, and I was just like, oh my god, like he remembers me, like it just felt so good.
Oh,
He still
that's so
remembered,
cute.
and yeah,
And
and like
that's why you moved.
yeah, I needed that, like I needed that. And then when I went back, that's when I started getting homesick. I was never homesick before until I came back to visit. And then I was like super homesick. But that's what I
Yeah.
came back for. I came back for that, and they just bring me a lot of joy. It's not like it's not a small thing. It's a huge thing, but it is a small thing because they're small.
Just now. I know. I
But your turn.
know.
Your turn. What brings you joy?
Right now, Bada Bing cherries. Those are amazing.
Oh, what is that?
Well,
What is that?
I have discovered the love of an old fashioned and slash Manhattan, depending. And I make these and I love them. And there's a jar, it's this jar of cherries. And I thought that I liked maraschino cherries before. Oh no,
Oh, I love
these,
cherries.
no, not after you're going to eat these. I'm telling you, they're called Bada Bing cherries. They have a blue lid, and sometimes they're bourbon soaked, sometimes they're vodka soaked.
Ooh.
I'm telling you, as you could just get them by themselves and then pour them in stuff.
Okay, girl. I'm gonna zao you
There's
some money and then send me like a
yeah,
jar.
you need these in your life right now. I know it's a simple thing right now. Also, of course, my garden. I'm gardening. I'm gardening
Where
right
did you
now,
find them?
and I just have so much fun when I'm there watching stuff come up. I'm sitting there singing or breathing on stuff constantly, talking to my little plants.
I
I'm the
love it.
crazy lady in the neighborhood that does that. I'll play the music, but there's nothing. If I'm having a hard time, I go out there and do some weeding, and just being in the earth is good.
I
Just
love
good
it.
for me. Yeah.
You know, yeah, reminding
Beachcombing.
me of right now is I remember watching a video a few years ago on YouTube where this person took like a chainsaw and cut like a very thin slice of a tree trunk and he put it
Yeah.
on a record player and it like played music. So
Really?
yesterday, yeah, you had never seen it? Oh my gosh, it was
No.
so cool. I was like, oh, this is so cool, like nature music, and it worked. I don't know if it was like he added special effects or whatever, but it looked genuine. Like it looked like he, was able to play, the rings on the tree trunk.
Really?
But yesterday I seen this device that somebody invented. It's like it looks like a little nature MP3 player. So like it's made out of wood. It's made out of bamboo wood, and then they have like
Mhm.
little like electronics inside the wood, and it has like two little wires coming out. One you put into the ground, and then one you clip to a leaf to like a plant, and it plays music.
Oh
It's
my
like
God. Okay,
yeah,
that I have seen. I
like
have
pitch
seen that.
vibrations. Yeah,
Crazy.
it's expensive, but it's so cool. So that's what reminded me of when you said that you go talk to your plants and stuff like that.
I do. I do. It's true.
Um, Shadow Sun, what do you look forward to doing that you are in California? Um, Trying to find, well, yeah, well, of course the beach. So beach is like my everything. I haven't went to my lighthouse yet. I definitely need to make a trip out there. It's kind of far, like that's like a 2 hour drive from here, but
Mhm.
I want to go out there to my lighthouse and I'll take pictures and stuff like that so you guys can see. But I want to find like the good metaphysical shops out here because we were spoiled with with nature's treasures. Like I don't think I'm gonna be able to find the prices like that out here, like
No,
anything
no.
close to it at all. But like I'm gonna go hunting. I'm just gonna go window shopping. I'm gonna stay disciplined and keep my money in my pocket until I find a good spot where I can find good quality crystals and stuff like that. Because I have millions of pieces of crystals, and so I love it. I love finding different ones, and I always buy it in threes because I feel like
Agree.
so I'm an animist, so I feel like everything has like a spirit, and so I feel like I can't just buy one type of crystal because I don't want it to be alone. So I always buy like one, two, or three.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
We're supposed to go to and now I got an echo. Can you hear an echo?
No.
I don't know what that is. Okay. Um we're supposed to go my granddaughter is turning 5. Can you believe it? She's turning 5 in October.
Gosh.
5. Noah, you held her when she was fresh out the hatch.
Yeah.
Like I mean, she's turning 5. So we're going to San Antonio to visit in October, and I'm in the back of my mind. Bear's just like, okay, I'm gonna get all the Whataburger sauces. I'm gonna get whatever I like. He's thinking that, and I'm like, how do I get to Nature's Treasures? And then I'm gonna have like 2 to 3 large flat rate shipping boxes. I'm just like raw crystals, raw crystals. It's just like, you know what I mean? Like the raw fluorite, the labradorite,
What?
the
When are you guys going?
October.
Okay.
Yeah, October, mid-October, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Yeah,
Fingers crossed.
if I go to Texas, it's gonna be to visit Tequila for sure because I just watched her vlog video. The storms
Yeah.
out there, oh my god, like they're just completely different than what I love the storms already that I experienced in Texas, but the ones around her place, I was just like taken totally back, and so
I haven't seen
I'm
the
gonna go
storm
visit
video
her.
yet. I was watching the Seeking Spirits video. I saw
Oh,
that one, and that one, like they were saying her name, but I got a very clear name, but it was Abigail. It wasn't,
I see.
and it's like it has nothing to do with the doll. It has nothing to do, but I thought her name, the spirit was Abigail. I don't know. People hear different things sometimes. And I think also that spirits play tricks on us sometimes. So it's like, okay, my name is this. Oh, my name is this. And it's like, what do you want? I'm just gonna mess with you. That's what they do.
But
That's
yeah,
what they do
I want to
sometimes.
visit Texas is to visit Tequila and then to go to Nature's Treasures for sure, and the Rock Barrel.
And the rock barrel. And the rock barrel for sure. Okay, here's
Green. She's so cool. Let's see. Have you picked up any new hobbies this quarantine? If so, what are they? Also, poke. I started getting into digital artwork in 2020. I bought an iPad and I don't remember how I found out about Procreate, the app Procreate. I'm in love with it because you can do so many different types of art. Like there's different mediums on there you can use. Like you can do watercolor on there, you can do oils, you can do pastels, you can do charcoal. It's digital, but like it has all those textures and stuff like that. And I love the fact that it's like I remember Raven when I was getting into watercolor. She was like, watercolor is forgiving. She's like, if you make a mistake, she's like, you can just before it dries, you can pull the paint back out. Well, that is like, the saint of like forgiveness because you just undo and then it goes away. So there's no anxiety for me when I do it. I mean, there's no anxiety when I do watercolor either, but like, I feel like, if I were to get if I were to invest money in a big canvas and I was like painting and I made a mistake or something that I didn't want, like I'd feel like really sad, So Procreate is definitely my hobby for sure.
This is just a tip for you.
Oh yeah, I've been to Spellbound Sky. Yeah, it is a nice place in California. Also, House of Intuition. I used to get my candles from there. Yeah, House of Intuition is where I found out how to do I Ching. It's like a type of divination. From there. Yeah, I love that place. Wow, how do you, Shadow Sun? Are you in California or?
Oh, I feel a California meet and greet coming on. Oh no, maybe so. I've got a question for you.
Okay.
What's the status of your shop? Are you bringing your shop back?
Yes. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for bringing that up. Okay, so in the midst,
because I have all these little paper stars all over my house.
Oh,
I have them everywhere. I just do.
So in the midst
Shadow
of
Sun says yes.
Oh, nice. Okay. So in the midst of, everything, all the events that I shared in the beginning of this live stream that happened to me, my shop had to take, a break, had to go to the dugout for a little while. There are two people that I still have orders for. They're super late, and like I reached out to one of them. The other one is on the website. I have to find them, but I haven't forgotten. So they paid for their orders, but my shop's closed, and I haven't fulfilled them yet. And I'm like, I feel super bad, but like I'm just kind of just coming to terms with that. Like I feel bad, I feel guilty, but I need to focus on this now, and then I can do it. And what I'm planning on doing is giving them their refunds and then sending out the items to them, just as as an apology kind of thing. But yeah, my shop will be coming back. I'm trying to ease myself back into everything. So first is YouTube. I want to get back into doing live streams again, and then my podcast. And once that is kind of worked into school and work, then I want to open up my shop. And so I've been stocking up on like jars and boxes and stuff like that I'm going to use for my orders, because now that I'm in California, I don't have the same type of stuff available to me that I would go buy. So I'm trying to find different ways that are inexpensive for me to fulfill orders and stuff like that. It's coming back. It's not gone forever. Like that whole like adventure was like amazing. Like it was a long time coming for sure, opening Lightning House, and it did bring me a lot of joy. Like I understand when you talk about it so much, like how much joy it brings you, to do like the live shows and stuff like that, and like post your new items because you do like different things every show. Just that joy that you speak about, like I totally understand where you're coming from, because that's how I felt, and I'm super grateful for all the people that order and like shop the shop and on the website that I use, and notifies me every time somebody goes onto the website. So I'm like, oh my god, like all day long the people are like on there. I'm like, oh my god, this is so cool, So I love all the support, and it's cool to see like what the people order, and like then they give me their reviews and their feedback and stuff like that. So definitely going to come back because I loved it. I would love to turn it into something bigger, but for now I just need to take baby steps forward.
Shadow Sun just said she mentioned Sage Goddess. I've actually been to the Sage Goddess shop.
You showed me her.
Very beautiful. It's a very beautiful shop. There was some sort of controversy though about her oils. Something about the breakdown of the oils weren't exact, or something causing some problems. I don't know what the status of that is. I still follow her. She does these amazing. If you don't go to her shop, if you're not able to go to her shop, you can go online. It is a little pricey. I'm not going to lie, it is a little pricey. But something that she does that is one of my favorite things is she does these live like moon rituals, full moon rituals. So you can get on there and then she'll walk you through like a meditation or a story or celebrating different goddesses, for various moons or whatever. She is very knowledgeable, extremely knowledgeable, and she's not hard to look at. Let me tell you, she is beautiful,
Yeah, she's cool.
beautiful. She's gorgeous.
I didn't know about her
Um,
till you showed me her.
what was that?
I said I didn't know about her till you showed me her. I remember
Oh God,
showing me
yeah.
her videos. Yeah, that's
Yeah, and
awesome.
something else, and I'm not sure where she is. I got to find her. But the Inked Goddess is now my new obsession.
Who?
Uh, she has her own shop. She's got a podcast on her website. She was just talking about cultural appropriation as an eclectic witch and how we are under fire for that a lot. And I mean, she has online shop, I think a physical shop. She does a lot of her own drawings and prints. Amazing. Check out the Inked Goddess. And I think she has a really awesome subscription box too, which I'm
Ooh.
thinking about getting because Belladonna Crow, formerly Elder, has made me understand that I can't just be a witchy hoarder. I have to like move some stuff around because so there are some things I gotta like let go of and just reorder. So I just put a order in for Tequila Shop. Her shop is open. I got some amazing rosemary and dragon's blood soap and some oils and some hot foot powder. I was like, hot foot. I'm gonna sprinkle it all around. Sprinkle it all around. But
That's awesome. I love it.
I love witchy shops. I love witchy shops. And
Me
I've
too.
had people like, why would you ever tell somebody to go shop somewhere else if they have the same things? They don't have the same things. They
No.
may have, I have a hot foot powder, you have a protection blend. I have a protection blend. I have protection candles. I've got all this other stuff. Our energies are different.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like how certain people click. I've bought things from other people that I was like really jazzed about and it looked very aesthetically pleasing and felt nothing from it.
Mhm.
Where somebody else felt everything from it,
Mhm.
so maybe it was meant for them. It wasn't meant for me, but I love to support our community and
Oh
our
yeah.
community members. That is utmost. So small shops, absolutely. I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm
so
in.
I bought a lot of stuff from Etsy recently, and it's starting to like trickle in. So like
Yeah.
this back wall back here has. I told you guys in the group chat, I was
Yeah.
like, I have a problem. I
Oh,
ordered like
God.
a bunch of dream catchers that I hung up on this wall, and then I found this 3D printer shop, and they printed like all the witchy symbols, like the Triskel back there. They
Mhm.
printed that for me, and then right here on this wall, I have the triquetra, the pentacle, and the I don't know how to say it. It's that. Let me show you. It's a Viking symbol. This one. Yeah.
Oh, that actually has to do for almost like a fallen soldier type
Mhm.
situation. So it's one that you'll see a lot in the military,
Yeah.
for honoring those that have passed on. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. So
It's
I got
kind of
those
an amazing.
got those 3D printed. Like, yeah, I'm in love.
Another shop to check out is Cunning Crow Creations. I just got
Mm.
an amazing sweatshirt from him, and then a selenite candle, which is like pretty groovy. And then West sent me a bunch of soaps and bath bombs. I'm gonna have to share them with you because there's no way that I can wash my body that much. I mean, there's a lot, so I will be happy to share the wealth.
Nice. I have a bone to pick with Nathan. So like when he
Oh,
chopped his
what's
hair off, he was
it?
like, he's never gonna grow it back. I was like, we're never gonna get the dingle hopper back in your hair. He's like, nope, I'm done. And then now it's all long again. I was like,
That's a
ah,
again.
yeah,
Dingle Hopper. I know. He is a hagstone hunting fool. I've never seen so many pick up hagstones just like that was
I
crazy. I
know.
search for them here and they'll get like bark that has been in, because a lot of trees go into the ocean here around this area. And then so the bark comes off the trees and it'll look like a hagstone. I'm like, yes, hagstone. And I'm like, no, not a hagstone.
Oh,
I'm like, damn it. And I'm like, hag shell? I'm like, no, that's from a moon snail that killed this other clam. That's not a thing. I'm
oh.
like, hagstone. One day. One day I'll find you.
I was looking at Green's comment, Greenstone Week. I know how to spell it. I just don't know how to pronounce it. I don't want to pronounce it wrong.
Bulk knot. It's a bulk knot.
Volkma. Okay.
Mhm. If
Thank you.
you had Bear, he would tell you.
Because
Um,
the Thor's hammer is like spelled really like crazy, and
yeah.
you
Well,
don't
it's Nordic.
know.
It's
Yeah.
Nordic. I mean, and then yeah. They haven't they didn't have a whole lot of things to do back in those days, so they came up with fanciful words. I don't know. They came up with fanciful words. Yeah, my favorite Viking symbol is the Helm of Awe. It's just amazing. So
Ooh.
it's kind of like a um somebody. I'm like, does somebody know what the Helm of
Doesn't
Awe
Bear
looks
have it
like? I'm trying to think.
tattooed on him?
Come?
Doesn't Bear have it tattooed on him?
Yes,
On
he
his
does.
leg?
Yep. Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
That's what I'm talking
So it
about.
has like the runes all the way
Yeah.
around, and then it's kind of like in a circle, and it almost looks like, I don't know, like a Viking snowflake almost.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, but I know what you're talking about. I
Real
remember
Viking.
watching it because Eric is really talented tattoo artist. Like when he did your tattoo, because I was there when you were getting it done, and he was doing that work that was like fresh tattoo, and I was like, oh my god, it looks amazing.
I know, we tried to talk you into it several times.
I was like,
And
nope.
let me just tell you that this switch right here will always, whenever time somebody says, hey, let's go get tattoos, I'm like, yeah, let's go. I'm totally down. So if in New Orleans, we all want to finally decide on that group tattoo, let's get it going, because we will be in the land of Eric and Meredith. And so they are going to be helping me host some of this. So yeah, if you guys want a little tattoo session, we can hit you up like big time. And I was thinking that we could all get like different colored stars or various stars or whatever. Like I could do a star that has lots of swirls in it. I'm very swirly kind of gal. And then, Snow could get a star that kind of looks like a snowflake. And then, like Noah will get one that has an anchor in it, in a little lighthouse. I don't know. That's my plan.
Renee says she's down for cats.
Yay, Renee!
Renee can get mine.
Renee, think about your star. Renee's star will be like a star with like a martini glass.
No, it's gonna have a little bee in it.
A little bee.
A little bee friends.
Oh, yes. Tattoos. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't think we've done it. Is there anything else you want to say? Because let's see. I'm looking back. Check those chat. Make sure I didn't miss any thingamabobbers. I'm getting close to where I have to pee. I'm getting close.
No, I don't see any
I
questions.
drink all this water. Look at this really very cool cup that my friend
Ooh.
Christine. Do you guys remember Christine from the Truth Talk?
Uh-huh.
She got me this beautiful thing, and then look at the back of it. It says, "The moon made me do it."
Yes.
This is my favorite cup ever. It's my house cup. It's a 32 ounce, and I drink about 4 of these a night. Like this is I drink, and then I have about this much in the morning left over. And in the morning before I get coffee, I like slam the rest of my water, and then I have coffee. And then somewhere around, I don't know, 11, I just start drinking water again. Noah and I have taken down a 5-gallon bottle of water during our 24-hour chat because we love water so much.
Yeah,
we apparently love pictures on cruise ships as well.
So this one's 64 ounces. I had a 32 ounce one. And I was so happy when I found it at Walmart because like it has a really good flow to it. Like this one is more like a straw, but that one has like a really nice flow. And so, but I was like constantly having to refill it. Like I would be on the phones for work because I used to work from home, and I would have to like put them on hold and get more water because I'm talking all day long. And I'm like, I need a bigger bottle. And so I invested in this coldest bottle, and it's 64 ounces and it lasts a little bit longer, not too much longer. But they have a gallon one, and I want to get it. And now when I had the money to get it, they were sold out of every color except purple, and I really want a white one. And now they're coming back. They're doing pre-orders right now for it. And so I think it's like 120, but I want to get the gallon one. I'm gonna get.
Oh man, you get the gallon one. You need it. It's true. It's true. We are water drinkers. It's really funny. Now, what was your moon and your rising? Because I know you and I are both Earth signs, and then I think you're 2 water signs as well for your your moon and your rising. Is
Oh,
that
I'm an
right?
Avatar girl, like so I have every element of my chart. Yeah, so I'm a Taurus sun, a Gemini moon, and a Sagittarius rising. So
Sagittarius
Earth,
rising. Okay.
air, and fire.
Earth, air, and fire. That's wow. Wow. Hmm. So what do you
Yeah.
think your connection to the sea is then? There's a question for you.
I don't know where it stems from, to be honest. I've always been called to it. Like I've been going to the beach since I was younger, and a lot of my cousins were always scared to go in. Like I never watched Jaws, but like even if I watched it, I wouldn't be scared. You know, I watched Baywatch growing up. You know, like when they would have people drown, like all those like really crazy accidents. Like those would stick in my head. Like I remember a lot of them, like when they fell off the ships or like they fell off the
Yeah.
sea-doos, lost at sea, like all those things and stuff like that. Those things stuck with me, but like every time we would go, it was just like carefree. Like I loved, my mom would always yell at me for going out too far, but I loved going out far because the deeper I got, the colder it got, and you could just feel it more, I don't know where it came
You're very brave. You're very brave. I
from.
watched Shark Week and I used to be a surfer, and I noticed I said used to be a surfer because the
I
one
would
morning
never do
I did not go was when my friend got chomped by a shark.
that. Ooh.
And
Well, it's
yeah,
because so when I was in fifth grade, my fifth grade teacher explained to us why sharks bite surfers is because they look like seals. And he
they
even
do.
drew a picture on the whiteboard. He's like, "This is the surfboard. This is your hands.
Yeah,
This is your feet. It looks like a seal." That's what
it
they
looks like a seal.
they
And
don't play in that.
they hunt from below,
Yeah,
so they
so it
they
looks like
see it up top with the sun, and that's a thing. But I just yeah, no. I remember yelling at my kids when we went to Port Aransas, and my kids were like playing underneath the pier, and I'm just like, get away from the pier. I said, don't you guys even watch Shark Week? What the hell's wrong with you? Like I'm screaming at them. I'm like, get into the other water. What are you doing? Because the people underneath the pier is a hot spot for sharks because
oh
everybody fishes off of there and
yeah,
throws their junk in there. So it's like a perfect place for
yeah.
them. Oh my God. And then Amber and I and Bear had an experience at Catalina Island where Bear's like, we're gonna go snorkeling, and it's not like snorkeling in the Caribbean. No, no, no. There was like some seaweed forest that was
Oh
there,
wow.
and I'm just like, I'm like, it felt like we were being watched by a predator. And I'm just like, get out of the water, get out of the water. And
Oh,
we were with a bunch of people that don't know how to swim, never snorkeled before. People
God.
were having panic attacks. And I'm like, we are fucking bait. Get out of the water. And so I was like making my way back. Amber's having a panic attack, and I'm like pulling her
Oh.
along as I'm swimming. I'm like, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. I'm just gonna get it. I'm like, not gonna. And then I get back on the boat, and the people like who was doing her tour, they're like, you don't want to swim anymore? And I'm like, fuck no, I don't think so. No. I'm like, that's a no. I
Oh,
said, give me the rum punch.
give me that tequila real quick.
Give me your now. Like, no. And so then everybody else that was in the water, they're looking at us and like, well, they're going back. So they all started coming back. And so I was like, I guess we're heading back. Like,
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's great. No, I've never had, a scare like that. Like we've never been pulled out of the water for like sharks or jellyfish. Thankfully, knock on wood, But
yeah.
I love the ocean. I don't know what it is. There's just a pull. I've had constant dreams growing up, like reoccurring dreams. And I only have a few of those. So like when they're reoccurring like that, like I really don't take them lightly. So like I have these dreams where like I am like pulled to the ocean and I have no control over my body. I'm just like walking towards the ocean or like I'm floating towards the ocean. And then
Wow.
I dive in and I go straight to the bottom and I don't freak out. I just look up and I start breathing underwater and I'm like walking around or swimming around. And
You're a merman.
yeah, I am absolutely. It's like a totally different world down there. And it's funny because like some of the things that I've seen in my dreams, I'll see like on the Discovery Channel. I'm like, oh my god, like I've never seen it before, So it's really awesome to be able to experience that.
That's awesome. I do have a big draw to the ocean. I love the ocean. I am an activist for the ocean.
Mhm.
Also, people out there who do have shops, I am getting rid of my plastic bags. I have found new biodegradable bags that have a little green stripe and the little
Ooh,
Ziploc. It's a little bit more, but I encourage you guys to use those, shop owners, please, for the love of the turtles. For the love of the turtles.
please, yeah, that sounds awesome. I need something like that for my shop too. I was thinking about it. I have a lot of plastic bags left, and I was like, I really don't want to use them, but then like I have them, they're just
I'll
gonna
send
sit.
them to you. Yeah,
Like
I'm getting through all of mine, and I'm almost done. And then my next order is going to be all green stripe.
awesome.
Yep, the thing. And then I will not have plastic bottles anymore. I'm going back to the glass. So
Hey,
yeah,
nice.
reuse. We do things. We do things. Yeah, for sure. You're a mer person, I think, for sure. I love the fact that you love the sea just as much as I do. It feels I just got to be close to it, like I don't necessarily have to be in it, but I just got to be like around it.
Hmm.
I did not enjoy being landlocked. Did
Let me
not enjoy that.
let me tell you that time that so when I came back in October and I met the boss ass witch for the first time.
Hmm.
I told him, I was like, let's go to the beach. And I'm thinking because he's been in that area for so long that he knew the area. So when I went to go pick him up and we were looking around, we drove for a little while and we found like the ocean. And he's like, oh, there's a beach right here. And we parked like on the side. He's like, you can park wherever you want. People come and go, whatever. And I seen a bunch of people down there. We're kind of high up, whatever. And I seen a bunch of people down there. I'm like, okay, well, how do you get down there though? Like I don't understand because like when you go to the beach, you go in the parking lot and you just walk through the sand and you're at the beach. This one, there's like people. I got to be at least 2 stories high. At least two
You
stories
sent me a video. You're like, girl, Noah, you're tall. You just jump.
No, so I and there was kids down there. There was elderly people down there. So I'm like, there has to be a path. There has to be like a decent path, like stairway or a ladder or something. It was the most steepest, jagged, rocky path that you could ever see. Getting
Oh my
down,
God.
I was literally like on my butt and like walking like a crab, like getting down because I didn't want to fall down, right? And
Yeah.
then the whole time that I was down there, I was like, how the fuck am I going to get back up? I was so like freaked out. And it wasn't even a beach; it was like a marsh. So he went like beach combing and found like a bunch of crap, and I went into the ocean and like dipped my feet in. There was no waves at all. Like that's what I was hoping for, was like because there's like power in waves, and there
Oh
was
yeah.
nothing in that. It was just like like little tiny little uh, uh, like water. It wasn't what I wanted, but it was a good experience. So yeah, so I stood like at the bottom of the rock path. I stood there sitting down, and he went off like beachcombing. He found a lot of cool stuff, like a lot of seashells and hagstones and then I'm like, we didn't bring anything to carry this. Like, how are we gonna get this up there, And so he brought everything back, and he had it all laid out so it could like dry a little bit. And he went and searched for a bag. And so I was sitting there, and I'm like, he's carrying all this shit. Like, I gotta get me up there. I gotta get me and this big ass bottle up there, And so, the anxiety was like getting to me, and I was like, how am I gonna get up there? So he was like, he was a good distance away, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. So I took like a big pile of his rocks, and I just had them in one hand, and then I had my my thumb through the loop, and I was just like, climbing. I was like bear crawling up there, just very slowly.
Oh,
And then
okay.
the same jagged, steep, narrow path. There's people coming down as you're going up, and so every time somebody would come down, I'd stop and just stop and rest. And I tell them, take your time because I don't want you falling on me and us both tumbling to our deaths. Like it's super dangerous. So
Super
they were appreciative. And then like it was like a group of like 4 people. They're probably like in their like late teens, maybe like early 20s, coming down with like $1,000 cameras, $2,000 cameras in their hands. And I'm like, what are you thinking? And they're freaked out more for their cameras than for their lives. I'm like, dude, like go slow. Like don't worry about me. I'm gonna sit here till you guys are down. And the girls that came with them, she's like, this is dangerous, right? And I was like, yeah. She's like, you see, guys, like, they're making fun of her, I guess. I'm like, no, girl, take your time. Like,
take
take
your
your
time.
time. So when they did, I was able to get back. And when I got up, I was like, all right, I'm up. And so I told him, I was like, I went down there for you, but I came up for me. Like I'll never do this again. He's like, why? It's so cool. And he found a lot of cool things. And he found like this really nice like cave in there. And I'm like, yeah, it's okay. I don't need it. Like, I'm never doing that ever again. Never in my life. But it was a good experience. But yeah,
Oh,
I want to be I want to be alive.
I want to be alive. Oh my gosh. We have some incredible beaches here. You've seen the beach that our local beach, and when it goes down, it's like zero tide. So when I was leaving work today and coming home, I mean, it was like way out there. You can walk almost like from one part of the bay to the other side, like really, really big. So there's that really beautiful beach, and then if you go over to Port Townsend, which is a ferry ride away from us. And I think Snow, I think we took you there because that's we did because we went to go to all the Victorian houses. Which, by the way, Snow, the house I took a picture of that had the red, Victorian with the like crown on the top of it is for sale. I
Oh,
need $1 million now like to go live in this house.
everybody puts
Huge
lottery.
Victorian, gorgeous. Well, okay, so on the other side, there's all these beaches and yeah. And then you go to the other side of Port Townsend, and there used to be a glass factory.
Mhm.
And so they had dumped all of that stuff into the ocean back in the day when they didn't know what they were doing. And so they've referred to that as Sea Glass Beach. So you can
Oh,
go, if you go to the right, you're not going to find a whole lot. But if you go to the left, there are people on the ferry with you know, like, piles,
oh my God.
sifting to the different colors. So there's like the aqua blue and the dark blue and the white and or the yellow, or, is just crazy. It was just absolutely crazy. That's someplace you got to go see
Ooh, that
for
sounds
sure. Yeah. And then of course, Deception Pass. There's nothing like Deception Pass.
I want
Nothing
to
like
go
it.
wherever you want to take me, and I also want to go to Forks.
You want to go to Forks?
Yeah,
Forks is like
I
three
want
and
to
a
go to
half
Port
hours.
Angeles.
If we go there, well, okay, so you have to go to Port Townsend in order to get to those places.
Mm,
So that is like a weekend. That's like a
yeah.
weekend trip. Because it's like a 4.5 hour drive, I think, to Forks from here. I haven't
Cool.
been there yet. I haven't been there yet.
No?
Nope.
Yeah, I want to go. That'd be
We
cool.
can stay at the Quiet
Ooh.
reservation. They have a bed and breakfast there where
Oh,
they rent
wow.
cabins.
How
You can
cool.
stay there. I looked it up because Amber wanted to go. I did go to Port Angeles to the restaurant where Bella and uh, Amber's a big
Twilight fan.
Twilight fan. I was going to say Starlight, Twilight fan. So we ate at the restaurant in the booth
Oh,
where
that's cool.
Edward and Bella had their first date. So
Oh.
and the owners were so cute. They took Amber around. They're like, here's where they decided to do this, and they decided to have the raviolis, and then da 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 da. Like she took her all around. It was like the sweetest people, super sweet, super kind. Oh, Snow's like, now I want to watch Twilight. I always loved the first one the best, and I
Well,
think I don't know. It's like, what is it? It's also like Harry Potter is the same thing. I like the first one the best. It's like the magic unfolds, the story unfolds
I
for
like
you, and you're like
Basketball.
in it.
I like that too. That's my favorite. But like when I was growing up watching it,
Mhm.
it was like the best thing, everywhere. Like I went to every midnight showing. I was part of the hype, and it was a good time. Now I watch them that I'm older. I'm like, there's some bad acting in here. Now I understand what people were seeing years ago. But like back then, I was just like so, taken. Like,
Oh,
they all look so pretty. Like I was Team Alice from like day one. I loved Alice. I loved her. I read the books before the movies,
mhm.
and so they didn't go into Alice's story like they did the others. And so
They should have.
I was really bummed that they didn't,
Yeah.
because she was my favorite. And so yeah, so when I was watching them when
They
I was
also
young,
didn't go into Rosalie's story as much as they should have either. They just sort of
yeah,
like
just
glazed over that. They
yeah,
totally glazed over it. I read it because I was like in Christian Path at that time, and my kids were reading these sparkly vampires, and I needed to know what they were reading. And I was in between jobs, so I just got book after book after book from Ridley's room, and I'm like, I'm going to the next one. I just sat there and read everything just so that I knew they weren't like
I
putting
read.
garbage into their head.
So I read them when I first moved to Texas back in 2009. Because we went like really briefly, like we went there I think like January of 2009, and then we moved back in like April. But like we were there, and I read all 4 books in 2 days. I went to Target and bought the first one. I read it like within a few hours, and then I bought the next one. So all 4 books in 2 days, and I still remember like every detail. But I was like really bummed about the first one because they should have shared Alice's story because she's tied to James, and so I'm just like, what? There's a really good rendition of it on YouTube though. Like somebody actually produced it.
Took the time.
Yeah, but like, it should have been in the movies.
Well, I believe Stephenie Meyer is in talks right now with the original cast to try to come back, and I know Kristen Stewart has agreed to come back, but they're still working on Robert Pattinson because she's trying to. He hated it so much, like he really did. So he was pretty gracious during those years because he never really knew that he hated it until it was like over. But she's doing the whole thing. I think it's like Midnight Sun, where it's all his perspective, which I was very much Team Edward because I'm one of those, like, he was a very constant. He wasn't a hothead, like he really loved her. It was always Team Edward. It was never Team Jacob because Jacob and Bella never were meant to be together. Like, never. Come on.
I was Team Alice, and then I was Team Benjamin. I was like, dude, Benjamin is powerful. Like, they really downplayed him, but like in the movies, but he's like super powerful.
Yeah. Well, and then so then all that faded away, and there was no more Twilight. And then I was watching Nurse Jackie, and the dad from Twilight is, the doctor on Nurse Jackie, and I'm like, hey. Hey. It's hilarious. Yeah. Oh, pop culture. Pop culture.
See what you started, Snow.
What was that?
I said, see what you started, Snow.
See what you started, Snow. Oh gosh. Well, I do have to go to Pote, so I will love and leave you. But it's not like I'm not going to see you again because my schedule. All right. So we're talking today with the Noah. Isn't he wonderful? Isn't he great? Snaps for Noah. He's awesome. Then on Saturday, I am at 4 p.m. I'm talking to Cinder Moonstone. She looks familiar, but she has a new name. So I'm going to let her talk about that and her journey. Then I'm talking to Crimson Fire, who is in the chat, on Sunday, my Sunday, 6 p.m. Her Monday, whatever time that is. Don't know. Don't know, but we figured it out. We ask Alexa and Google lots of things, and they tell us the answers, and we just kind of go with it. Mm-hmm. Then we see Noah back with the Lady Grave Dancer on Monday at 5:30 p.m. right here because it's my turn to host. Because usually, if you really want to know, we usually Tequila and I just sort of like, oh, Noah will host.
Yeah, because of the tech stuff.
We have to
all you have to do is just click a button. You guys are in. Now you guys have to learn. But you guys both know how to use it now, so there's no excuse.
No excuse. No excuse. So we've got a very, very busy week, and then I am running around down to the McMenamins Trail a little bit. Yay! Again, because I'm going to finish this damn passport. So then I'll switch gears over into the Pirate and I channel, and then we'll be back with Renee. Then we'll be back with Miguel. I've got so much stuff. So I think that's all that's going to happen for Truth Talk this month, because I think that's plenty. And then we're going to be shifting into June, where I have at least 5 more.
Ooh, you almost got all the Aussies already. Wow.
I almost got all of those Aussies. I wonder if that other Aussie is watching right now. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you.
I don't think they're watching right now, but they'll probably watch it later. And then they know.
We know. Now, did you get those I know smudge is not the PC term anymore, but you got these beautiful herbal sticks.
Oh yeah, they're hanging up here.
Did you get it from him?
No.
Where did they come from?
I got them from Etsy.
Oh, they're so pretty. Oh, they're so pretty. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I need to order.
No, I got them on Etsy. Yeah, like I was telling you earlier, like small business. When I found them, I was like, I need to get a few, And so they're like
smoke sticks. Smoke sticks. Thank you, Snow.
Or smoke wands, yeah. Mm-hmm. A lot of them are cedar or rosemary base, and then there's like flowers and stuff, and like they're really nice.
I have a big tub over here of rosemary that I hacked my bush, and I made a bunch of, actually Bear made a bunch of smudge or smoke sticks.
Yeah.
Made a bunch of smoke sticks. If am Native American and I have it and can prove it in my DNA, can I say smudge? Am I allowed?
It's not so much like it's not so much of like not being able to say it because smudging is as a practice. It's not like a thing. So
Okay.
it's a full blown like practice, like a ritual. And
Mhm.
I think that's where, you know, a lot of the cultural appropriation comes from is what happened.
Renee says that's what she said.
Wait, what did you say?
I don't know, but she said
I don't know. But yeah, so
it.
that's where a lot of the cultural appropriation comes from is because, you know, the sage is over harvested
Yeah,
already and they're afraid it's going to go extinct because they use it in a lot of their rituals. But like, yeah,
yeah.
it's a whole practice. There's a whole like, you know, thing behind it. But a lot of people say smudge like it's like, just like like any other verb. She stuffed her bush. Oh my God.
I said I hacked my bush. I
Yeah,
hacked,
yeah, she.
not stuffed, but still that sounds bad. And those are my friends. My friends right there.
Everybody wants to know how Texas witches are. There you go.
There you go.
Oh, that's awesome.
Fly by the seat of our pants, big time. I'm washing wigs now. Ooh, wig washer.
Wiggy with it.
My lovies. Oh, God.
Elaine.
I cannot wait for everybody to be on this cruise ship again together. I don't know. Is there any interest in you guys coming along for Alaska? I mean, I know that's next year. It's a time away. But if there's anybody out there that wants me to make that into a witchy meet and greet, I can make it happen. I can make it happen real quick because my ticket's already paid for. So I'm ready. I'm ready. It leaves out of Seattle. I'm good. That is a
Oh, Elaine,
thing.
you're always so nice. I love you, girl.
A lady. Oh, sweet Elaine. We're about to wrap up, woman. Where have you been? She's been at work. She's been at work. She's doing stuff. Oh, dog. Okay. All right. I'm leaving you. I love you and stuff.
I love you too, girl. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you for telling your truth. And thank you for talking about some hard issues that I think people really need to hear.
Hmm.
Really, really need to hear. Sometimes we have good days. Sometimes we have really bad ones that aren't on camera.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we're still here. We're
All right, I will see you
still doing it.
Monday.
See you Monday. Okay. See you
Bye,
Monday.
guys.
Bye. I have to push buttons.